LOL.
I love this song. I always say that, but
Well,
Actually, I don't think you do.
I never heard you say it.
really? I say it all the time.
I've never heard you say that.
I mean, not
It's
like
relaxing.
as the song is playing.
Yeah, LOL. Lol.
It's very nice.
next week we're not going to hear the song though. Actually, we're going to be
All
hearing
right.
Why?
the Deep Space Nine theme song. At least for our channel.
We're going right into it then.
Yeah. So that'll be
Stay
a different.
tuned, jerks.
Yeah,
DS9's coming.
And in many
It's
ways,
coming.
this episode is actually kind of a
Dick size
lead-in.
9. You know what I mean?
That's a hefty boy.
Yeah. It's a girthy.
Sure.
Yeah. But this episode is actually a good setup for Deep Space Nine. Not just in
Really?
terms of characters, but also in terms of tone. So if you like the tone of Chain of Command, boy, you're in for a time with Deep Space Nine.
I like the nudity. Is there more nudity? Do we see like Picard PP in DS9?
Oh, you'll see, I mean, there'll be nudity
because
in some way.
I was shocked.
To see his butt.
It was
I was
gratuitous.
shocked. It was very shocking to me because we've never seen anything like that.
But it was
Like,
also kind of cowardly because they give him clothes right away.
I know. Afterward, maybe like the ghoul guy eventually was like, I don't want to see your.
You know what?
your
You've
third
been
leg."
naked long enough.
I was wondering. I'm like, are bare butts okay on TV at
You-
that time?
There was
You
no crack.
learned
There
your
was no
lesson,
crack.
right?
There was a crack.
No, there wasn't. There was only side cheek.
Side cheek.
like
No, there was
I
a little
could-
crack. There was a little
I could
crack.
definitely.
I mean,
but maybe
like,
that's the high res version
I
we're watching
think-
now. I don't know.
I think that they were like, if you see cleavage, you could see a little crack. You know?
Yeah. I think it's like the same rule as boobs. As long as you
Yeah.
don't see the starfish, you're fine.
Yeah. 'Cause you don't see the nipple. You know?
Yeah. So
A real long way from full frontal guess.
Yeah.
at this point.
But we watched Chain of Command Part 2.
That we did.
This is basically the plot of both Thanos and Rambo Part 2 rolled into one.
Thanos. What's Thanos?
Like what Thanos wanted, which was like he's
What?
like, well, Thanos' plan was like, oh, now there's no hunger because I killed half the people. Everyone's good now. And it's like, yeah, but you're a piece of shit, dude. You killed like half the people, dude. You idiot.
Oh, and you mean in the sense
that's
that
true.
he's willing that the military is willing to go
Yeah.
to war to
he's like the world is at peace. It's like, yeah, no one's hungry, but half of the people are gone, motherfucker.
well, actually,
Yeah,
the
but-
movie they thought they were basing it on was actually an independent film called Closet Land. I've never seen it. Have you seen Closet Land? Has anyone?
I sure have.
I've seen a Closet Land, but it's not the one we're thinking. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right, gotcha. Yeah.
Wait, you mean
so-
they didn't base it on Avengers Endgame?
in the future?
You're blowing my mind here.
I thought this was- I thought, like, to me, this is the very famous Four Lights episode.
Yes.
I thought that was a more explicit reference to 1984, but having done research about it, I guess it was more of a coincidence than it was like an actual like reference, which I think is fascinating because it's almost the exact same point.
There
of
was
both
4
novels.
lights, and then there was 2 because at that point Jesus was carrying 2 of the lights.
Imagine that's Picard's response. Picard goes, "There's only 2 because Jesus carried the other 2."
Well, I mean, the way the original story is supposed to go is like you're supposed to at first be kind of, accusing of Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you leave me alone? Why'd you leave me with only 2 lights? And he's like, oh, my child. I was
That's
carrying those 2
that's what it was.
lights.
That it was. He's like, I only saw 4 lights because he abandoned me, but then I did see 5 because he was carrying me all along. God damn it, dude. Too many lights.
Well, Chain of Command first aired on December
Picard Unchained.
December 21st, 1990. This is a Christmas episode almost.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nearly, but
Wow.
I don't have anything Christmassy in
I know, but it's just
in the
funny
stuff.
that this is
you
like-
got to stop mentioning holidays.
Let's all gather around the television during the holidays, everyone, and watch Natric Patrick Stewart get tortured like he's in Vietnam. So,
yeah, why not?
I'll tell you, this is exactly
Fun for the
like
family.
this is like Rambo 1 and 2, dude.
December 21st of 1992 was when this episode first aired. Dan, Let's do it.
All right, we're going around the sun. It's only been a week since Chain of Command Part 1, so not a whole lot has happened. I just kind of scraped the barrel here. Here we go. Robin Williams starred in a not-so-successful comedy movie called Toys. I just know it to be like one of those covers I would see in like a Blockbuster all the time. Yeah. It was always faded.
I feel like I would visually, from just promotional material, get it mixed up with Big.
I guess it was just like a big old face on it.
Jackie Gleason in it, right? Jackie Gleason was in this?
Ooh, I don't know if he was
Jackie Gleason in Toys? Robin Williams and Jackie Gleason. Okay, maybe.
But the cover was Robin Williams in like a red bowler hat, so...
Oh, it doesn't seem to be the case.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
I'm just going to move right on along. Streets of Rage 2 released on the Genesis. It has a wonderful soundtrack, that one. That was the one that had Max, Axel, Blaze, and Skate.
Yeah,
but no sign of a kangaroo yet.
Skate was fucking sick. He'll break
Skate
dance.
Was pretty sick. Yeah. Break to break. All right. 2 TV shows saw their end in this month, one of which was Darkwing Duck, ending its 3rd season, and therefore its whole run. And also over there in the WB animation lot, the Plucky Duck Show ended, which was an ill-received single-season spin-off of Tiny Toon Adventures, which focused only on Plucky Duck, but it was mostly just repackaged segments from Tiny Toon Adventures that featured Plucky.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know what they were thinking, and it's like for a reason.
It's essentially a clip show, as a full show.
Right, and they kind of like ended up doing the same thing with Pinky and the Brain, only that they very smartly actually built an actual show around them.
Yeah, and Pinky and the Brain was sick. So when they started having
exactly
full-length episodes, those were great because they were like, oh my god, there's like it's less of a joke per little section. Now they're having a whole character arc.
Yeah, honestly, going back to those old WB afternoon shows, Pinky and the Brain was the most cerebral by far. I think.
It's the standout. And you're like, wow, this is a great show. I love this.
Yeah, they had like an entire episode all about like a political campaign that was like a very, very heady. Like, there's no way anyone in elementary school knew anything about what they were doing.
And also, I love the episode where Pinky's the one who got smart and reveals that it's probably Brain who is just a crazy person. Like, he's not like actually smart.
Oh, I mean, they used it as an opportunity to just highlight how the show is actually written. It's always Brain's fault that the plan fails.
I know, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So that was an awesome episode.
I love that episode.
All right, so finally, the last thing, just because it's been a slow week, I went back to The Simpsons. The most recent episode that aired as of this date was Homer's Triple Bypass, which introduced us to Dr. Nick's good friend, Mr. McGregor, with a leg for an arm and an arm for a leg.
I don't remember that one very well. What happens in Homer's Triple Bypass?
Homer gets a triple bypass.
Yeah, it's in the title, Marvin. Come on.
Was that
hot
it?
Dogs, get your hot dogs here.
Oh, yeah, lady setting my kids through college. Okay.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Okay.
It's a good episode. You should watch it.
Okay. I just forgotten it, I guess.
Watch it again. Thus concludes our trip around the sun.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan. You know what? Let's also thank our sponsors, because you know what? Father's Day is by the time this episode comes out, Father's Day is right around the corner. Oh boy.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, you're gonna.
In fact, it's too late. Don't even try.
Yeah, it's late. It's late.
Yeah, actually, by the time this episode comes out, yes, Father's Day will have been over. So
and that was your last chance.
Yeah. So too bad. But if you want,
your dad's love is expired.
If you want to try to make it up to your dad, salvage what's left of your shattered relationship. Now that you missed Father's Day, you can maybe get him a wallet from Ekster, ekster.com. And you know what? They have those nice little pop-up wallets with the little quick access buttons and all that. But maybe you want to make it up to your dad. It's like, Dad, I'm sorry I missed Father's Day. Let's go on a road trip together. Maybe you could get him the Grid duffel backpack, so it's a good way to store all your stuff into one place. Ricardo is about to go on a road trip with one of those Grid duffel backpacks.
Are you trying to guilt me into giving that bag to my dad, dude?
Oh, no.
It feels like that, Marvin. God damn it.
Not a necessity.
Will you be anywhere near your father during this trip?
If you're a good son, you would.
Oh,
but
my God,
If you're nowhere near your father during this trip, you are not obligated to give him the bag yet.
No, I mean, it's for your dad, so.
Yeah, but until you see him, what he doesn't know doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, dude.
What would be the worst if your dad was just like, "That's such a cool bag." Like, oh, I love that. I would love
like
one.
that.
They'd be like, "I'll give you a
Man, I
code
wish
for
I
a fucking
had that bag.
I'll give you a code for a discount code."
Where did you get that? How do I get that?
Well,
Get your own dad.
Well, listeners, unfortunately, we can't just give you a bag, but if you'd like a discount on such bags and other things at Extra, they have like key cases, they have the wallets, they have like a recycled sand wallet now. I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Recycled sand.
How does that work?
I'm not sure. I just remember seeing a notification for new product, recycled sand wallet. I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Like, how is that sanitary? I only use new sand.
So I am not sure. I will look into it further, but maybe there's like a specific
Is it
reason
kitty
for
litter?
It just smells terrible.
But it looks badass.
Nobody will steal your wallet. It's made out of cat litter.
It's a gold wallet.
Recycled cat litter.
The gold wallet is also still available if anyone wants it. So I mean, if you just take a look,
I want it.
I mean, I would love to get a hands on gold wallet one day. But hey, if you guys want to get your hands on a gold wallet or any of the other awesome things Extra offers, you can just head on over to ekster.com and use our offer code Newbie, that's NEWBIE, when you check out on any order. And there's a lot of cool stuff. You get free shipping on orders over $50, free returns within 45 days, 12-month warranty on all products, and there's like tens of thousands of positive reviews for Extra all across the internet. So
extra read all about it, right?
Exactly. Extra put your money in it because it's a wallet. So you were about to say something, Ricardo.
I was talking about the Dickskin wallet that they haven't released, but
don't worry.
I don't want to anger the rep, dude, by like hyping it up and then they never release it. I will say I do want the exotic skins wallet, like the cowboy boots.
I would love for them to be able to take them out of prototype stage. It would be great.
I want to fucking. If I'm really being honest, I want a snake skin fucking wallet.
One of them looked like a snake skin or alligator skin. It looked like that.
Hell yeah.
So that would have been really cool. Yeah.
Like low key, when I was in Mexico, this last time, I was like, I kind of want some fucking snake skin boots.
Yeah, dude.
And my wife was like, when are you going to wear them, dude? And I was like,
when I go to work.
When I go to work. You work from home. And I was like, yeah, I could wear them at my desk.
Yeah.
But then she reminded me that I don't have the pants.
Just wear them with your pajamas. It's fine.
I guess so.
Or with no pants.
Or no pants.
Shorts. Oh, gosh.
You go full sexy cowboy, dude.
We got to bring like shorts and cowboy boots back,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in many ways, they never went away.
No.
Wait,
they were never here, really.
This possibly could already be a fit Chris Pine has rocked by now.
Yeah.
Or, I am positive there are people during Pride Month wearing that exact outfit right now.
That's true.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah, at this very second.
Yeah, literally. I'm not even joking. Right now,
aside from me.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So if you want to be cool like that and get an Extra product, all those different things. And again, extra.com, use offer code Newbie. You get a discount on any of the things. It's up to 40% off during the Father's Day sale, but that might continue past. I'm not 100% sure. They have often done that. They've often done that. So.
Though,
that's true. It might be.
So right now, the grid duffel bag, it's already on sale.
Yes,
it's like 30, $40 off.
Yes.
So if you add the discount code,
it's even more off.
Discount, yeah.
Actually, right now it's $60 off.
Oh, there you go.
Oh shit,
that's a really good.
It'd be cool if it was 69, but whatever, dude.
Next, our other sponsor, good old mainstay ExpressVPN. You know what it's like to be going through the internet and being like, man, I wish I was safer while on the internet. Well,
yeah.
Or you know what it's like when you click on like a questionable link.
Yeah, and you're like, God, I wish nobody saw this.
You know what it's like when you're trying to download an illegal movie and you're like, I don't want my internet service provider to find out. Allegedly. You don't want your internet service provider to find out. Here's the thing. Here's a rule that allegedly some people have.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw the movie in theaters, you paid full price for that movie already. Once.
Yeah.
What if you want to rewatch it, and then you're like, maybe when the Blu-ray comes out, I'm gonna get it, but I want to watch it again.
I already own this movie on Blu-ray. I want it digitally.
Okay.
You know,
That's true.
I mean,
That's the old emulator like
Yeah.
ROM backup argument that used to be.
and you know, I do have ways of ripping them, but it's the exact same thing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, allegedly. But
There's
again,
so many things you can use it for.
yeah. I mean, you can use it to like try out streaming services in different countries.
Yep.
You can use it to see what news is like in different countries. It's really interesting what different types of search results you get for news.
Yeah.
There are ways.
I'll do one that doesn't get us in trouble here in the U.S.
Porn.
Well, that will get you in trouble in some states because they're goddamn fucking Puritans here, dude.
God damn it.
I thought we left fucking England to have freedom, dude. Not to be fucking
Freedom
tied
of
down
I
by
thought
more
we
Puritans.
left England so we could watch porn with our cousins.
Yeah. I thought my
I
ancestors
won't live in a
were,
country that
you know,
robs men of the right.
Yeah, we're
To watch
you know,
pornography with their cousins.
yeah. Tell you what, dude. These goddamn fucking uptight bastards, dude. They're locking down porn. They want you to put your ID. They want you to be on the list, dude.
Don't
you know
fucking
what?
put your ID in.
You know what, dude?
Do not give them their ID.
Dude,
that's a
That's
recipe
your right,
for
dude.
disaster.
It's your right to masturbate to whatever you want, dude. All right?
Yep.
It's your I'm a red-blooded American. And you deserve to masturbate to whatever you want, dude. And VPN is gonna make it safe, dude. Just say you're in Canada or Mexico. Boom.
Mhm.
You're around the thing, dude.
Yeah, Canada's like, oh yeah, well,
Two.
you take a look.
Sometimes
All are welcomed here.
sometimes
Canada.
the bastards here will put stuff behind a paywall, right? Like
Yeah,
you can't watch something. Now, if you go to London, you could sign up for channel 4 or the BBC like player, and technically it's free for anybody, because especially the BBC, it's free for anybody who lives in England. Now, if you throw on your VPN, you're in England, baby.
The other
So-
thing, and Nate has told me about this a few times.
Don't name him by name. Nate Dogg.
Nate Dogg's told me this a few times.
Nate Dogg, yes.
Where he said he's been getting more into baseball, and he's like, oh, there's a lot of games that are city locked or like
Dude,
local locked.
Don't get me started, Marvin. Please don't get me started on this.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly, dude. You know.
The Dodgers are behind a paywall because they have a deal with Spectrum.
Yeah.
And so even if you have the MLB app, even if you pay the premium like MLB membership, you don't get the Dodgers games. You don't get the Dodgers games if you subscribe to YouTube TV. You don't get the Dodgers games unless you're subscribed to the stupid fucking Spectrum fucking streaming or the cable. And that's bullshit, dude. So yeah, if you want to watch a Dodger game, you could probably just say you're in London and watch it that way.
Yeah. So that's what he has been doing, where he was like, well, I traveled more south, but I wanted to watch a game that's locally locked to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I changed my VPN to San Francisco. Bam. I'm watching the game. So
wait, is he a Giants fan?
I don't remember exactly.
If he is, dude, I don't like this guy anymore.
Well,
I've turned the page on Nate.
Everything is the Nate's
Name
page
names,
is turned.
so he gets arrested, dude.
The cops go, hey.
You're not in San Francisco.
So, ExpressVPN. This is all of this is to say. We didn't even mention that it's ExpressVPN this whole time.
We're just throwing people under the bus.
But, ExpressVPN is one of those good quality VPNs you can use. And honestly, they've had a very long, reliable, successful track record, are industry leading in security findings. In fact, just to be completely transparent, when they discovered that their Windows version of their app had a DNS leak, when you're split tunneling, they fixed it right away, informed everyone about it right away, and realized that other VPNs have the same issue and told the other VPNs too.
They weren't gatekeeping the information.
Yeah. In fact, they're very open source about a lot of their solutions, which has been very good.
They're really open about what kind of porn they watch.
Yeah. So, and, a lot of their servers have been upgraded to 10 gigabit speed. That means if you have a fiber connection, you can actually make full use of that connection while you're connected to the ExpressVPN. Yeah. It's actually fast. Built-in ad blocker, built-in keys password manager. You can use it up to 8 devices. There's a lot going on for one little VPN. And if you guys want to get it, you can just head on over to expressvpn.com/newbie-Star-Trek. And when you sign up for 12 months, they'll give you 3 months for free. That makes the entire package 49% off. That's a really, really good deal for a VPN of that quality. And if you're not sure, there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can just try it out for a month. Then, hey, if it's too complicated for you or you just don't want to do a VPN right now, you can just cancel and get your money back. So again, it's expressvpn.com/newbie-Star-Trek. And if you sign up for 12 months, they'll give you 3 months for free.
2 things real quick.
Yeah.
One, allegedly, I had a friend who was into sports betting, and this app that they were at was locked to maybe a certain state that's okay with.
Because certain states allow online sports betting and others do not.
And so he just VPN'd and said he was in a different state and he was able to sports bet. And then, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing.
But you know what, dude? Look, we're trying to line our pockets with some of this VPN money, dude. That's the truth, right? But here's the thing: you don't have to get ExpressVPN. Get any VPN. Just be safe. If you can't afford it,
and if you're gonna get a VPN, don't go for free VPNs. Like the Google VPN, I probably would not trust. There's also a bunch of
they're just keysering all information and selling.
It's the same thing. You might as well not be using a VPN, in my opinion. Other VPNs that are free also have shady deals. I don't know if you should do. So, you get what you pay for.
Do your research.
Yeah, do your research. Yeah. And like a variety of research. Don't get your research from one source because, some of these articles are owned by VPN companies.
Yeah.
And they sort of flatter themselves over other VPNs. And that's not really accurate. It's good to get a variety of different sources.
This isn't even part of the read, dude. This is us telling you like, hey, if you can't afford it, it's totally fine, dude. Just find a cheaper one or find a one that works for you, but be safe out there, guys. Look your porn safely, guys.
Yeah.
And
it's just a generally good additional safety measure for internet use. I mean, it's not going to solve all your issues, but it's just another good thing to have in your security toolkit. So, all right.
Don't be a weirdo is my last thing.
Yeah. Don't be a weirdo. Don't be a weirdo. Well, I mean, that's good general life advice. Yeah. That was good advice for Denise Crosby, too.
It's okay to be a weirdo.
Yes.
But sometimes just don't be too much of a weirdo. That's what I should have said.
If you become too much of a weirdo, then this happens.
Ricardo, could you please tell us what happened in this episode?
And then you get killed by a tar monster.
You know what's so funny is I just watched the Venom 3 trailer and I couldn't stop thinking of fucking Tasha. just
imagine if Denise Crosby was cast in a Venom movie. That would be great, right?
Yeah, I could dig that.
Yeah, just have her in there.
Spoiler alert! In the trailer, Venom takes over a horse. So there's a Venom horse. You guys gotta watch the trailer, dude.
I did not know that was a thing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, that's the sort of dumb shit that they really should be leaning into. So I'm glad for that. Good.
This is a topic for another podcast, but I have so many thoughts on the Venom thing. I think it's a beautiful thing that they finally got to, where they're just leaning into this shit. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So this episode is a continuation of last week's episode. And
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this the first two-parter where it's really good, both parts? Is that
I don't think the second part's good on this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think fascinating.
Wow, how presumptuous of you, Marvin.
Yeah.
Because I would say this second part is actually better than the first part, in my opinion.
Hard pass, dude.
Wow.
I like how a lot of the second part resolved, but I do think that there are some big questions that I would like better answers for.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And we're getting really ahead of this, but I like my opinion of this episode is that it gets by on the strength of its performances more than anything.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that is a huge part of it, which is crazy because David Warner was cast 3 days before they were going to shoot.
And he had to read all his lines off of cue cards.
Yeah, he's reading cue cards, actually, because he could not remember the technobabble.
I mean, the lighting and the prosthetics helped design.
Which one's David Warner?
He was Ghoul Madred, the guy who's interrogating him.
Oh,
he's Warren G's brother.
Got it.
The guy who's like strangely obsessed with Picard.
Yeah, he's obsessed with fucking lights. He's like, how many lights, you bastard? I see 4. No, I see 5. So you're supposed to see 5. Here's my takeaway from the beginning of this. Mm-hmm. By the way, these dudes have vaginas on their foreheads.
Yeah.
Straight up. The overall joke, the usual joke, is that they're spoon heads. They all have spoons on their heads.
No, they're a little.
And in fact, I think that is a slur they use in Deep Space Nine against them.
Oh, you can't say that, dude.
So
you don't think you know.
Now we can't say that. Now that you've said that.
You don't just think you know.
So,
First of all, they dressed up fucking Picard like fucking Daredevil. They put a fucking thing over his eyes, and he looks just like Daredevil. He's wearing the black.
Oh, his hallway fight's way worse.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Every Netflix thing has to have a hallway fight. Fucking Luther Fallen Sun, the exclusive Netflix movie for the continuation of Luther, the BBC series, had to have a hallway fight. Like fucking Cowboy Bebop had to have a hallway fight. What is with Netflix and hallway fights?
Like Bebop, I can understand wanting to try one, but whatever.
Come on, everybody.
Yeah. A couple of things. I think Jericho?
Jellico?
Jelly.
Jelly. He's Jelly.
Jelly.
Yeah,
Jelly,
yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
Was right
Jericho
along,
would have
dude.
been a great name, actually.
I know,
if he was
dude.
named Jericho.
I know.
Oh.
Jericho was right the whole time. Everyone was wrong, dude. Everyone was wrong. He knew what was up the whole time, and these bastards were like, "Oh, we're snowflakes. Oh, you yelled at us. Oh."
Well, my read of this entire episode is that this is just the converse of how every other episode usually goes.
Yeah. So that's what they're playing with. They know that when some admiral fuck or some newcomer comes in, usually the audience is very suspicious of them and goes, "This guy's gonna fuck everything up. I can't wait till Picard comes back and fixes everything, or Riker comes back and fixes everything." And you wait for that the whole episode, and at the end you're like, "Oh no,
he was right.
He just did a good job," and then he left.
He was
right, and like every decision he made just happened to be right.
Yeah.
In the same way that most other episodes, every decision they make just happens to be the one that works out.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's for me, it's like, oh, this is just the same kind of episode. This is just alternate universe Enterprise. Like this is the one that is run by the book, but still, lasts every single week.
Yeah.
So he was right the whole time, and everyone's too fucking sensitive, dude. And nobody fucking follows military protocol in this fucking show, dude. And especially this episode, like everyone's like, "Oh, he wants to do this. He doesn't want to go save Picard." Yeah, dude. One man doesn't mean shit, dude. We're trying to win these fucking fucks, dude. We're trying to beat these guys.
I do wish his argument for that was different.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I wish he was like, "Look, that's not the priority right now.
Yeah,
do you think Picard would want you to save him right now in the middle of this?"
There's so many other things he could have said that were good. That was
also,
good.
like, how many times has Picard been like, "We got to go. Fuck it, dude."
Yeah. Okay, not that long ago, the season finale or the season premiere where the brain aliens were eating souls, right?
Yeah,
they were saying Picard would have wanted us to blow up the thing. Like they would not want him to save him, right? So
yeah.
Riker was like, "But I'm his number one dad."
I wanted so this guy Dr. Warner or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Dr. Warner. I like
Dr. Warner. I like
that. He's like, "Are you gonna fucking tell me what's going on, dude?" And he's like, "No, fuck you, dude." And he's like, "Time up, dude." And they time up, and I wanted him to go, "Unhad me."
What crime?
What's the charge?
I feel like this,
take your hands off my dishes.
Do you feel like he's like? Do you feel like this guy?
This gets Ricardo way too reliably.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like this guy that's torturing Picard was like.
He didn't even offer him a succulent Chinese dinner.
Succulent Chinese dinner. How dare you?
There's a meal.
Sorry.
Succulent Chinese meal.
Succulent Cardassian meal.
No, he did. He gave him that weird egg thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
berries.
he did. He did give him a succulent.
He ate a succulent boiled egg meal.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Well, it wasn't boiled.
This guy is doing like weird stuff off the record. Like he has this like weird like fetish. I don't know, weird of not fetish, but like a fascination.
Yeah, by then you definitely get the sense that he was like carrying out a personal thing.
Yeah. I wanted them to come back and go, "Dude, why is this guy naked, dude?"
Yeah.
What are you doing, dude? Dude,
I don't know if
VPN?
that's not going to help the interrogation.
Why did you have to address him? This is cruel and unusual punishment. This is
Why are
strange.
there rose petals on the ground?
Why is he greased up? Why are
you recording this? Why is this on film? Why is your daughter in here? What the fuck?
What's the ferret for?
I so in Fast and the Furious 2, Too Fast, Too Furious, there's a scene where they use a rat. They put a rat on this guy's chest, and then they put a metal thing over him, and then they start burning the top of the metal thing, and then the rat starts to scratch through the guys. And I thought they were going to do that. I thought like, "Oh, Too Fast, Too Furious stole it from this," and then they didn't do it. And I'm like, "Boo!"
I thought that reminds me of like how in Blacklist, Raymond Reddington's like interrogation / torture guy always brings in a random new animal next time.
Oh, yes.
Like one time, like the first one's like makes sense to like a boa constrictor. So it's like, okay. But then later it's like a llama or it's like a bag of puppies. And then you're like, what are they? Yeah. So it's like, what are they going to do?
Snuggle you to death.
And so they tie him up and they pull him and they
do that thing.
They put him naked though. Like I thought, they're gonna do dick stuff. They're gonna burn.
Well,
his
I mean,
dick
I think
or something.
I think part of it is, it's funny because I think part of it is like he's like, oh, you're no longer Picard, you're just human. So he's trying to dehumanize him, except human is to them is less than a Cardassian.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned dick. So the part where he's like, oh, I put like a pain module in you, right?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I could hurt any part of your body you want.
Oh yeah.
That's and I was like, oh, you're gonna like hurt his dick, aren't you?
You're gonna burn his dick. And then when the lights came out, I thought, they're gonna sunburn his dick. That's worse, I guess. And especially because he can't cover himself. He just
it's toasting hurting. Too much.
I mean, in fairness, it's probably the testicles that hurt more.
Yeah. So
you guys remember Never Die Again?
Casino Royale.
Yes,
Casino Royale when it happened. Yeah.
And they were just fucking pinning them in the balls.
Yeah.
I can't relate to any of this conversation, but I assume it's very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if we sunburned your boobs, dude? You know?
But I don't think boobs are as sensitive as balls.
I mean, okay. Maybe. I mean, I think I could live through that.
I think it's
what if we got a little thing?
All
and then
I
just
know is that
whacked
it's 10 times worse than childbirth.
Yeah. That's all I know.
No.
I mean, I get hit in the boobs all the time, and I don't have a reaction.
By
that's
whom?
Like, by just random, people knock into me
Objects
all the time. I don't know,
in the world.
Things.
And when you do that, you tell, well, tough titties.
Yeah, and I don't have a reaction that's equivalent to like a guy getting like
if a guy gets like
tapped lightly tapped on the balls.
on his nutsack, he'll be like, ow. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't.
One time at work, a specific job that Marvin and I used to work at, there was a toy that one of our coworkers had, and we were playing around. And I threw it a little too hard, and it hit his crotch. And I thought he was not going to be able to father children again, but it turns out he did. He did father.
There's proof.
But yeah,
exactly.
So
I don't think there's anything you can throw that hard at me that I would have the reaction that guys seem to have.
Also, whenever we sit down, we have to like be careful.
If we sit
down wrong, it'll be a thing. That's one of the things like little boys like learn is like, oh, I have to like my balls are growing.
God, that would be so
I need to sit
annoying.
down correctly. If I don't, I'm gonna hurt myself.
It would be just so annoying.
And then they show side dick, not even side dick. What is the little part? The front, because there's a scene where like the next day they come, they leave him hanged. He's hung.
Oh yeah, just a bit
literally
of his
hung.
A bit of his like little crotch area is showing.
Oh yeah, the crevasse.
Yeah.
And so I think this guy is just a pervert, dude.
I think part of it. I think the undertone is he's gaining some sexual pleasure from this.
Yeah.
In some
capacity.
God,
that's so disturbing.
Yeah. I think that is like a subtext.
Wait, I have a question. Do we think Sir Pat was actually naked on set?
Yeah, he was.
Well, not completely. He probably had a.
He probably had like a dick covering of some
No.
kind.
It's the same as when in the
back. I mean, we saw his butt.
It's the same as when John Delancey, when he became a human from Q, he came into the set butt naked. Patrick Stewart also was butt naked. Like people said, he went all out for this. And when they like were doing, he saw the first draft and he was like, "Wow, this is about like." Torture. I'm gonna like really dive into it and get.
And he actually has
a
personal like interest in
torture.
Not in torture specifically, but
like Amnesty International and stuff.
Yeah, Amnesty International.
Yeah. So like this has been like a topic.
But I feel like this is also like not needed for like the sake of the female crew. Like he didn't need to do this. Like he's like just put on some.
That's true, but that is what he did, and
but he's like catering, come in.
I mean, everyone said they were like
everyone said they were impressed.
Yeah,
right?
They said like he went all in. They were like really really like impressed with the amount of energy he put into the role.
Okay, we'll call it energy.
Yeah. And so this guy's he's really torturing him, dude. He's like, I put a bug in you, and then at the end, I wish he would have said at the end, he's like, you know how in Escape from LA. I don't know if a lot of you have seen it. In Escape from LA, they're like, "Hey, we put a bug in you. You're gonna die if you don't come back with the
That's Escape from New York too, I think. Right? They put a bomb in his neck, I think.
Yeah, but in this one, in part 2, it's a virus.
So similar
it's a
to a
virus.
discussion we've
It's
already
a virus.
had.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it says you have a virus, and we'll give you the antidote when you get back.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he gets
Cyrus
back,
the virus inside your neck.
when he comes back. He's like, I'll give you the antidote. He's like, just kidding. It was just we gave you a cold. And I wish they would have told Picard that. He's like,
Well, every time you were like doing that, we weren't doing anything.
Yeah, we weren't doing anything.
The placebo effect's just so strong.
It's so strong that he thought he was dying.
You see him press something in his hand, and you're like,
oh, my balls.
He's spitting and stuff.
Starts frothing in the mouth, and then it's like, I didn't put any batteries in this.
But Dred's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Stop it, my balls.
You know who'd make a good Picard? Fucking Arnold, dude.
Sure.
We speculated that with Arnold as Picard and Danny DeVito as Riker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
he's like banging whores.
It's a twins Enterprise reunion.
Yeah. So anyway, they come in and they're like, hey, so like the Kardashians are like, hey, we caught a spy. His name's Picard. He's bald, and we're torturing him, dude.
Yeah, here's a video.
Like, there's a video. Yeah. In the video, they're like squeal like a pig. And so
hard. My mom's name is this.
Yeah. And so they leave, and fucking Riker's like, we gotta go fucking get him. And then the guy from RoboCop, he's like, fuck you, dude. You're gonna do what I say, dude, and you were not gonna do that, dude. And he basically at one point tells him to go to his room. He's like, go to your room, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
You're fired.
Yeah.
You're no longer my number one
person. Yeah.
And then Data becomes number one.
I know. We see him with the red shirt, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's a good fit for Jellicoe.
Yeah.
And
he's
also,
a great number one for Jellicoe.
To be honest, Data in general would probably be the better number one because it's Data.
It's probably true. Yeah.
Definitely.
Here's the thing: Riker should be
and captain
co-security officer.
Yeah, he could.
Data should just run Starfleet.
Yeah, Data should be Starfleet president and just run everything.
I thought it was interesting.
What it takes.
I thought it was interesting. Data like didn't say anything. He just kind of appears in a red shirt, and you're like, like nobody's gonna be like, hey.
Data's completely practical. He has no emotions to like.
Right, it's an opportunity to show how emotionless Data can be at times.
It's like your coworker just taking your role, and you're like, all right, we're doing this now. Give me your shirt. Is this Will's shirt too? You know,
took Will's shirt
just right off of him.
Give me your shirt. Give me your outfit.
Like you have a typical scene, hand in your badge, right? And you like turn in his comm badge. And be like, and hand me your shirt. He tears off Riker's shirt too.
And then Data just puts it on. You're like, damn, okay.
And it tears off entirely with one pull.
Yeah, it just goes
comically.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the episode is just like a back and forth of Jellicoe going like, this is what I want, boom, 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 boom. I want you to put up some mines, do this, do that, and everyone like going like, oh, why are you yelling? You're so harsh. And even at the end, like, so I'm moving.
But
forward.
He's doing all the right things. Like he's okay, well, if someone were to survive, we need to go here. Yeah. So while I'm talking right now, Riker, you go on your shuttle, and they pick up Worf and Beverly, and then they're safe now. And then
he doesn't waste time going like, let's fucking do this. It's like I don't want to talk shit about Picard, but he's way more proficient than Picard, dude.
Well, he's way more like he knows exactly what he wants. He doesn't like take the field for questions or opinions.
Yeah.
He's more of like, I have my opinion already and I'm going to do it. Like even when they're like, we are going to do the plan where we're going to go to Minas Corva and we're going to lay these mines, right?
Yeah.
And then I forget who's the one who interjects. It might have been Geordi, and Geordi's being like, is this what if we're just walking into like a trap and
he goes like, well, it's moot.
Yeah, what if it's not a good idea? And then Jellicoe goes like, this is already the plan. It's already happening. I'm not here to discuss the plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Beverly gets all hurt when she's like, yeah, you just want me to prepare for all the death.
What's funny is that there are none. There are no casualties at all.
Yeah, because he did the right thing. Not even one.
I bet she felt dumb like after that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like this is what it's like to run a proficient fucking ship, dude.
I think to me, it's the difference between Picard is Picard is optimistic. Picard believes he can always get best outcome. He's glass half full. Jellicoe is glass half empty. He's always planning for worst case scenario, which I can respect that. But I can respect that approach as well, because he prepared for like, hey, a lot of people might get hurt. Let's get ready for that. But if I do my job right, in fact, everyone will win, you know?
But I bet you if you look at the records, dude, Jellicoe has more wins, dude, and less deaths, dude.
I think he is more militarily decorated, which is why he took over for Picard for this mission.
Yeah.
So
like if Picard
where was he during the Borg fiasco?
Yeah, dude.
Maybe he's one of the ones who was badass during the assault, you know? Maybe he's the one.
They could have like brought that up a bit and been like, during the Borg stuff, like he was doing some badass shit. I would have liked to hear about it.
He single-handedly saved...
He made a RoboCop and he was fucking killing people.
He single-handedly saved like 4 starships.
You know, there's probably an account of what the Cairo was up to at the time.
Yeah. I would love to like have more backstory. Jellicoe is the type of character where he could easily come back and you'd be like,
yeah, dude.
I would. What is he been up to?
I want him to have his own ship, dude. His own show, I meant. Not ship. He's got his own ship already.
You know what? I realized something about Jellicoe watching this episode. The thing that Jellicoe reminds me of the most is the real Seymour Skinner.
Oh, yeah, the one who's badass in Vietnam and like...
Well, but yeah, like he comes home, there's like nothing wrong with him, but he's like, he's not who you're used to. And he has like his own traditions that like come from his own...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and he doesn't like... mesh with everyone, but he's fine. He's functionally fine. They just nobody likes him.
There's nothing actually wrong with the guy. He just doesn't fit into this show.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where fucking Dr. Warner, he's like, hey, eat some food, dude. And he gives him an egg, and it's supposed to be really gross, probably like a durian. A durian?
Durian.
And he's like consistently, Picard's like, fuck you, I'm gonna fucking beat you at your mind games, you know? You give me an egg, that's a smelly egg, I'm gonna eat it, dude, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And he's like, he's like,
he's also like probably legit super hungry. He's like, fuck it. This is,
and then he gives him a plate of regular food, and he's like, all right, and he fucking goes to town on that. And then
Dr.
Warner keeps fucking torturing him, and like Picard's got like a cold sore for some reason.
Yeah, he's got like a weird.
I think what happened is, remember he got punched.
Oh yeah.
So because there's a part where he keeps talking back to him.
And then, he gets slapped, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like it starts off with like they're slowly escalating the torture method. So it starts off with let's just give him a bunch of medication and let's see if that alone
on unhappy pills.
Yeah, and let's see if that alone will be good enough. That doesn't seem to be working. Okay, I'm going to talk to him personally. That doesn't seem to be working. Let's hang him. See what happens. That doesn't seem to be working.
Probe his dick.
Let's try some psychological damage. Let's bring my daughter in and see how he handles that. And then, but then he insults him by saying his daughter's going to grow up to have no soul.
You know what I forgot to mention is that Dr. Warner takes off the cuffs using a fucking little iPhone. He does a lot of things with the iPhone.
It's like a.
I like that. I like that there's a Cardassian thermos.
Oh yes,
yeah, the thermos.
A very specific Cardassian thermos, and then their cups are triangles they need to put onto like stands.
It's so impractical.
They're cones with stands.
It's like the cones you get at like you know how offices when they cheap out on disposable cups.
I hate that
they get
so
the fucking
much because you can't put it down anywhere. Yeah. You gotta drink. I mean, it's meant to drink in one.
Maybe that's a Cardassian version of that. Like they because they're in the military, so they couldn't afford a bottom for their cups.
And then Jelly is like, he tells everybody to do shit, right? And he's talking to Geordi, and he's like, "Oh, the ship, yeah, you did the mines, dude." And he's like, they're talking about how he used to be a pilot and blah blah. And Geordi's like, "You know who the best pilot in the fucking ship is? It's fucking Riker, dude."
Yeah.
And so he has to fucking eat his shit and go talk to Riker. Yeah. And Riker's in his fucking jams, and he's like,
reading a magazine.
He does that thing where like you go to somebody and you're trying to get a favor, but you're talking about other shit, and you're like, just fucking ask the favor, dude. Like he's like, yeah. So how's life been, dude? What? Oh my god, is that
am I interrupting?
Yeah. What's going on here? And he's like, why don't you just fucking ask, dude? And he's like, will you be my wingman? And he's like, I will be. And then he's like, you're welcome, dude. And that's badass.
And they had to drop the whole rank thing, and they exchanged a bunch of insults.
No, I don't like
awesome.
you.
I mean, I love that scene because
I love that scene.
It's like they both have very reasonable reasons to believe the things that they do about each other. And it's just like a very valid clash of personalities. And it's just very nice to see.
I think what they're demonstrating in that scene is that fundamentally nothing is wrong with either of them. They just don't get along. Yeah. Right. So
I have a question for the group.
Mm-hmm.
Which group?
For you guys. No, the group of kittens behind me. Okay, so who here is pro straight up telling yes.
Dude. We're gonna get in trouble, dude.
Definitely.
No.
Pro telling someone straight up they did that I don't like you. Or would you rather just, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all?
Oh, tell them you don't like them. Tell them.
It depends on how much interaction I intend to have with you in the future.
Yeah, if I have to work with them and we're gonna work really often, it's just,
if I know I'm going to be stuck in your vicinity a lot, and I know it's going to be better for me and my own future to not, just
lay it all out there. Make
it a reason to.
Sometimes it makes it easier to actually tell someone like, "Hey, I don't like you, but we have to work together." And
it kind of depends on the things you have against the person too, though. It's like if it's innocuous stuff.
Because there's just some things I have against some coworkers where it's
it's a shitty coworker. Like you don't believe that they're exactly this. Like they just don't see eye to eye on how to do things.
Well, sometimes for me, it can be petty. If it's petty, I'll probably just be like, whatever, and then interact with you not as much. If it's a fundamental problem, like with Riker and Jellicoe, where they fundamentally disagree on core principles that affects their job, we need to hash it out. Because if we don't, we can't do our work. So that's
I've had coworkers that I like, but I told them that they were shitty workers to their face.
I mean,
I'm very pro. Personally, I wish we could be more honest with each other. I prefer being. People know me as a pretty straightforward person, but I really wish I love that scene where they just say how they feel about each other, and that's that. There's no more guesswork. I hate guesswork. I just want to know. Just tell me how you feel, and I prefer to tell people how I feel, and we move on with our lives and we deal with it.
But there's adults, a lot of people who don't want the truth, and that'll just lead to issue. It depends on the person
like
you're
Tom
with.
Cruise,
Riker and Jellicoe
couldn't handle the truth.
But also, if you don't really like each other, but you're able to sustain a cordial working relationship without getting in each other's faces ever,
then that's fine too.
I mean, I know I am on my end. I understand that a lot of people are not able to do that.
And in this case, it's just their two personalities, Riker and Jellicoe. They both would prefer they just said the shit to each other. I think if it was, let's say, Deanna, she probably would be a little more beat around the bush. Maybe not as direct, or maybe more like Geordi. Geordi is not as direct, so he might beat around the bush a little more. But Riker just wants to get it out there. He told Ro right away, "I don't like you," right away.
He's like, I find you sexually attractive, but I don't like you.
I will fuck you. But
I mean, this is literally what happened. So
I think this is one of the first glances at crew interpersonal issue because there's such a lack of that in Next Generation. And for me, when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, two coworkers are being honest with each other in a way like that. You just don't see that on TNG a lot.
And you know what? That's another tone setter for Deep Space Nine, because that's essentially
spoilers, dude.
It's not spoilers. Damn, this is a tone. So
we can't watch DS9 anymore.
Yeah, no, we're gonna skip it, dude.
Sorry, listeners.
So what happens is Riker does it. He plants the mines, and it works out. Everything works out for them. And on the other side, Riker's.
Just a quick question though.
A short shirt.
Aren't mines? Isn't that a war crime to lay mines? Because in real life, laying mines is a war crime. So
probably.
So were they committing war crimes?
I'll be honest, I don't know enough about war myself.
Because mines are considered one of the worst things you can do in acts of war.
Yeah, but these aren't mines that are like bouncing betties, dude. These are mines that you detonate, dude. So I'm sure they could suck them back into the ship if they need to.
I guess that's true. Yeah, they seem to be able to
They did
remotely
deploy them
detonate
with a very particular target or
and
set of
knew,
targets in mind.
He knew exactly, like, he's like, set off 42 and boom.
Yeah. So they could probably remotely detonate or disarm them. And then it's not like mines in real life where you just literally scatter a field with hundreds of them.
Right. And then,
they're not
fuck
disarmed
anything that happens
and
to come
he's
through.
like, Tim, how are you going to get back here? He's like, I don't know where I put them.
I'm dead. Yeah.
I'm dead.
And for generations, that field is just fucked unless you get a mine like team out.
Minecraft. So then they recover fucking Picard. And then the dude's going, he's like, dude, we told you to get this guy ready. Do what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
And he's still fucking with him.
What are you even doing?
Yeah.
Well, I do like how Jellicoe did it. Like he's pretending like it's his last little thing. He's like, oh, and by the way, I heard you have Picard. I'd like him back. But reality, that was his like part of his priority list the whole time.
Right.
Where he was like, oh, I'm gonna get him back. And it's funny that when we do cut back to he's not this Ghoul Madred guy. He's not above line. He lies constantly. We skipped over the part where he claimed Picard could leave.
Oh yeah.
But he's like, well, if we don't get it from you, we're gonna get it from that lady doctor friend.
Yeah,
right. He constantly feeds him lies about like who else they have and what they've already done to his friends.
He should have said, oh, and we know that you killed her husband. And he's like, we're gonna tell everybody. Oh, no,
we had no choice. We already killed Worf.
No, I'll do it.
We already killed Worf. We had no choice. He was going crazy.
Yeah. And then he's like, I abandoned my child. He's talking about fucking Wesley. So anyway, they bring him back, Picard, and Picard's like, you know what though? I hate this. This is what brought down the fucking score a lot, dude.
Really?
They bring him back. He's been tortured. They don't know. Look, he put a report in, but they don't know what really happened back there. It's only his word. He could have been Manchurian Candidate. You know what I mean? He could have been like programmed to come back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're doing this much psychological shit, they could have programmed him to like.
That's true.
You know what I mean? To kill somebody later.
Right.
And no one like goes like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna really do like a month of like, make sure you're healthy mentally as well, and then we'll put you back. And immediately he's like, oh, did you shave? Cool. All right. Command back to Picard.
He already proved how resilient he is when he bounced right back from the Borg incident, and so it was like, hey, you know what?
Made me think of.
He comes, he comes right back. It's fine.
Yeah.
All's well that ends well.
Also, he yelled at the. So the
Did
last
they remove
scene,
the pain device?
Yeah. We
don't know that. We don't know that.
They did a whole medical thing clearly because like he's shaved. He looks
sure.
His little punch thing is gone. And
what if he just saved the controller for like every so often? It's like,
I wonder how that feels.
He puts a light on his phone and he's like, how many lights?
Well, so that scene with Ghoul Madred at the ending where he's like, okay, so we have found Minas Corva and we are going to. It's actually we won. We didn't need because the whole time they were trying to get information out of Picard about the defenses because he is assigned to that sector, but he legitimately doesn't have any information about it.
Yeah.
He just
knows so it's everyone's reading that he really didn't, right?
Yeah.
Because Jellicoe sort of alludes to that as well. Jellicoe goes, oh, he's assigned to the sector and they think he would know about it.
Yeah.
But they're sort of implying that he actually doesn't know. He probably would get his orders on the day of if something were to happen, because why would you put all your eggs in one basket?
They should have kidnapped Jellicoe.
Yeah, well, Jellicoe doesn't necessarily know either, probably. So it's probably
shit though.
Yeah, so there's that, but then when that's happening, that scene makes it explicitly clear that Ghoul Madred is doing this for himself because in that because one of the most there's a lot of things we glanced over really quickly because one of the most important things that happened is during the scene where he's being fed.
Yeah,
he talks about how he was a child growing up in war-torn Cardassia. Yeah, and it was basically a might makes right story where an older guy stole his food, and now he's like, now I know that in this world, even with all the horrible things we've done to make this world good for our children will be safe. My daughter will eat. And Picard responds by saying, wow, you're a little baby bitch.
Little bitch. All I heard was a little bitch story.
Yeah, I guess you're a little baby. And even Ghoul Madred slips and calls him Picard instead of human again. Because he's like, oh, see, you are a little baby bitch.
Yeah.
And that's the point where he lost, like psychologically.
Yeah.
So that last scene where he's saying, oh, yeah, we blow up the planet. That's Picard being like tested. Like he's trying to win. He just wants to win at this point. He doesn't care about the information anymore.
Yeah.
He just wants to break him.
He's like, there's 4 lights, dude. You're a bitch. You're a 6-year-old bitch. And you always work.
Yeah, he yells at the end.
Yeah. There's 4 lights, motherfucker. So just the fact that like they put him back in command so fast and like it just they really look. I get that Jelly, like he came out looking good, but like they should have. I would have liked as a button for them to be like, especially Riker, like, hey, I may not agree with your tactics, but God,
have some conversation.
You're a badass motherfucker, dude. You know. And then they salute each other. They're like, adios, va con Dios, something like that, something cool.
I think it's okay actually that they didn't, because like they just don't get. I think the conversation they have in Riker's quarters, they fully admit we just don't like each other. Yeah, I don't think regardless of how good you are at something or good you're not at something, I just don't like you. So
you know what I would have liked? Yeah. I would have liked Riker coming back in from laying all the mines down and just exchanging a look.
Yeah,
just a look.
That would have been enough. That would have been
like or the Shooter McGavin that the finger
Shooter
guns,
McGavin's him. Yeah.
I like that.
Or just holding out your arms to the sides, like what?
like the first episode, the first part was like on a high, and then this one like it took a little shit, dude.
I agree.
For me, it's like and this is 6.5 for me.
Wow.
Ooh, that's quite the jump.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about you, Sarah and Dan? What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go with a 7.
Okay.
I think I definitely agree with Ricardo. It wasn't as captivating as the first half.
Yeah.
And
there wasn't enough nudity for me to be like, baby. Yeah.
I really wanted to see full frontal for sure.
well, that we're never going to see, Sarah. Come on. But it should have been like longer. He should have been naked longer. And then the alien, the Kardashian should have been like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Why is this guy naked? Like, they really should have reprimanded Dr. Warner.
It would have been. More. I think it would have made sense for it to not have his clothes on the whole time. Yeah. And at the end, when the leader guy comes in, he's like, "Where are his clothes? We told you to give him his clothes back." You know,
where the fuck, dude? And then he's like, "And what about the little girl that you had in here? That's not even your daughter." And like,
Yeah.
And then Madre's like, "Shut up!
Shut up!
Yeah.
You're ruining everything."
Why did you take my daughter for your thing? That's weird.
She told me she saw a guy's penis today, human's penis. What's going on with
Why did you give her a ferret? That's so odd. That's not. She doesn't have a ferret.
No, she's got rabies. She's got rabies.
Why are you calling it a wampot? A wompat.
I mean, there were some really good moments though. I really, of course, I thought the nudity, I was shocked by the nudity, to be honest, because we haven't seen anything like that yet. Like
we saw
a fully naked woman, dude.
We saw a naked wedding.
Did we see her booty? Did we see her booty? I can't remember.
We saw a little crack of her booty.
No, but this was like a
side
full
boob.
body.
We saw side boob.
I felt like this was more than usual.
No,
in my
not really. We saw so much of Alexana.
Close enough too. It's just special because it's Picard this time.
Yeah, and it's Picard, and
you have a problem, Sarah.
I just felt it was Picard. A little bit more than usual. It caught me off guard, and then also I felt like this episode was more violent than we've ever seen.
Oh yeah, the torture is really like.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, in fact, in England when they aired it, they had to cut out a few shots here and there of him being tortured because they're like, that's a little too graphic. I don't know if we can show that.
I mean, on a personal note, I can handle a lot of violence and craziness and things like that.
It's just
it doesn't bother me.
TNG.
It's just for TNG. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, this is a lot for this that we haven't seen up until this point. So
it's kind of funny to me that we are talking about how intense and graphic and violent the scenes are, but it really is just
performance.
It's just Patrick Stewart giving his all on the floor,
which is a testament to his performance. Like
there's no real blood or anything. He's just like convulsing and looking miserable.
I think it's just it's the combination of the fact that like this is a heinous war crime being committed combined with performance. Like, I think it's a good testament to how like you can make a scene feel really viscerally ugly and scary without having to resort to cheap tricks. Sometimes you can like just do this and it works really well. Like,
and I did really like like I mentioned before, the interpersonal crew with Jelly and Riker. I loved seeing their scene in.
I like when he
Will's
comes in. He's
together.
like, "Oh, you have a trombone, classical or contemporary?" And he's like, "Jazz." And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's like ska. He's like ska.
No, I've already seen a whole bunch of Scott Trek memes, and those are some of my favorites. I love those.
It would have been great if Jellicoe was like, "Well, I'm a ska man myself."
Oh
You know
my
what? You know
God.
Well, I've been known to pick it up from time to time myself.
That would have been great. Oh man, that would have been another little fun little dimension to his character where you're like, "Oh, he's a ska
But
guy."
I just feel like it was just lacking in some places in terms of like, I thought it was going to be a little bit more exciting maybe, or I don't know what I was expecting, but I just feel like it kind of like fell flat a little bit.
But you can see
And-
how like this is. You can see why they considered this cheaper to split it, right? Because in this episode, it's basically one set the whole time.
Doesn't.
Well, it's one set the whole time for Picard, and then everyone else is just in the same Star Trek TNG set that they're always using.
Yeah.
So they save a lot of money
Cheap
that
as
way.
hell.
Yeah.
And then they also, at the end, I wonder. Clearly, they kind of leave it open. You wonder, similar to the Borg episode. It seems like Picard is definitely still dealing with something on some level, and I wonder why that's not being handled a little bit more professionally and questioned. I mean,
they don't have PTO in this fucking.
So I would
there's
argue,
no like PTO or some medical leave for a moment there.
I would argue that they are actually attempting to. Like Deanna takes him aside really specifically, and he's talking about his feelings.
Right, but he's still working. You know,
I know,
like
but
he
that's
should be.
that's for this time period. They're like, to me, it reminds me of after Geordi was actually Manchurian candidated, and then they had a scene at the end where Geordi and Deanna were talking. That's almost the same thing to me. Where
But this is dangerous. I mean, these are people that
So is Geordi.
we would potentially go to war. Like, I just feel like there should be a little bit more. If we're going to be militarized and secure, like, shouldn't we have some kind of debrief time period? I guess.
Arguably, that's what they're doing right now. So,
but he's still working. That's not a debrief. Like, he needs to be. We need to know the extent to which he was infiltrated, tortured.
I would argue, though,
We
that
don't
I think that's exactly what's happening. Though he just gets the ship back. The very first thing that happens when he gets the ship back is he goes into his ready room with Deanna and talks. I mean, this was for all we know.
My
the
whole
debriefing
thing
process.
is that he shouldn't be working. He is working.
Well, that's not
still.
working. He just went straight to
No,
his room to
he's
talk.
very much. I mean, when he got control
I think
of
you're
the
having issue with the
Enterprise.
fact that he was given back the Enterprise.
yeah,
so
I don't
simply.
think he should be given back the Enterprise yet. That he's considered the captain right now. He can make and do things that a captain should do.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we've dealt with this before. And
Yeah,
I
that we
just- I
have,
don't
and it's
know.
because we have dealt with it before that I am finding it less of a complaint this time around because it's more of the same.
Yeah,
in terms
it
of like
is.
how this show tends to be. So I'm like, all right, if it's just gonna do that, then that other stuff is cool.
But they are
Yeah.
making an attempt to say, yeah, he's getting psychiatric help. Like, and that scene is telling. He says, I did actually give in. I just didn't get a chance to say it out loud.
Right? He was
I
literally
mean,
saved by the
it's-
buzzer.
It's to be continued. I wonder if we do see more of
I think
this come up
I think
again?
we are looking at this
TVC.
show through such a modern lens that we
dude.
must have thread lines and loose
Yeah.
ends. And this was an era when they just didn't really,
Yeah.
bank on those sorts of things. And so, like, for the audience of its time, they would not really be thinking too much about that.
Yeah.
For the most part.
We're
Yeah.
over here. We're talking about quiet quitting over here, dude. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. That's so true.
Let them cook, dude. Let them cook, dude.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
I don't think I gave a score for this
Yeah.
episode yet.
69?
I'm giving it an 8.5.
Oh, just like the last episode.
Yeah, just like it's about the same. But actually, what I like about this one is that it made Jellicoe more likable to me overall.
Yes.
Because you get to see like how his method works. He also gets to have more of a humanizing moment with Geordi, talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
racing and being a good pilot and all that stuff. So that stuff I liked.
It's clear that Jellicoe can get along with people.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I liked, how they actually showed him being personable to some degree.
Yeah.
Which it's like, okay, for the past the first episode made it seem like there is Jellicoe for some weird reason lives in a separate show where there's no time and they actually take things seriously.
Yeah.
And you know,
And he sometimes the cost of doing things quickly is rubbing people the wrong way, but he's willing to take that cost because he's just got to get it done, you know. So
right. And then like throughout the first episode, I'm thinking like, well, why is it such a rush? It never has been before, and we've also dealt with, you know, existential threats in the past that did not need this level of hustle. And that's kind of the feeling I had throughout the first episode.
Mhm.
But the part 2 was a little more like it had some moments to breathe, which I appreciated, and it also allowed him to look a little more. It validated Riker's view a little more in their exchange with each other, and I liked their exchange quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, one other thing I'll mention is that I like Gul Lemek's smarmy smile.
Oh,
For some reason, whenever he smiles at Picard, I'm like, "Oh, what a asshole!" But for whatever reason, this is fun. And also, I now am down to only one remaining TNG meme that I know of.
Yes,
that has not yet occurred.
Four Lights is one of the biggest.
Yeah,
TNG
Four Lights
memes.
is definitely one of the biggest ones. I've been looking at Picard screaming that with that red robe on for like well over a decade on the
You're
internet.
like, what is this from?
Yeah, and it's literally just him trying to 1984 him. That's the thing. So my score is actually a 10.
Boo,
out of
dude.
10.
Get outta here, dude.
Come on, Marvin.
This is
You're such a fucking Picard fanboy, dude.
well.
Just
This is
fucking
what I
pick me.
Like this
Yeah,
score
dude.
is more typical of the general fandom. Let's say that. Like this,
Okay,
people
you
tend
know
to
what?
regard this episode very highly.
You know what? I'm gonna do this, dude. You do you, dude. You do you.
It's one of my favorite episodes. I think together this two-parter is as good as Measure of a Man. I like
Really?
Measure of a Man better because I think Measure of a Man is a better self-enclosed story that's packed into one episode. This one required the 2 episodes, and it takes longer in order to get to the parts that are important. And it's also, and I scored the first episode a little lower because I think all the infiltration stuff is drags on a little bit. Like they have to go down a cliff, they got to go through a tunnel, they got to find this door. It's like, we get it, they're infiltrating, it's fine.
They're dressed like ninjas. We get it, dude.
Yeah, but this part I really, really enjoy. I mean,
like torture stuff.
I'm a big character development and character performance guy. Like that's the thing I love seeing in media. And this is Star Trek at its finest when it comes to that. Like the performances of everyone in the episode is really good. And, you know, just the scenes with Picard and Gul Madred alone together are just, there's a reason everyone gravitates toward that as a meme because it made such an impact, this sort of scene. And I do really like the ending where, you know what? Picard isn't infallible. He actually lost.
I actually do like that detail.
It's a very Pyrrhic victory. Like, and when he yelled out at him, "There are 4 lights," it's because he was frustrated. It wasn't an act of defiance. It was an act of, I just got away with it, you know? And like, but he knows internally I've lost, you know? I would have said anything to be able to not live this way anymore. And I think that's fascinating to show how Picard is normally
in my
portrayed
mind,
as
isn't
like,
just frustration. It's like desperation. It's like he needs to
Yeah.
desperately prove to himself in that moment. It's like, wait, no. Real life can still happen.
It's for him, not for the Gul Madred. It's to try to convince himself.
Yeah, it's like in that moment he needs to seize reality back.
Yeah. I love this whole thing. I know it's a bit constructed in this. The setup is a bit constructed because it's like, they really needed to bring him just to find the plans for this one. It's a little constructed. Sure. I get it. It's a little, but man, overall, what a great setup. I really love this episode, and that's why I give it a 10. That's what Marvin does.
Cool.
Oh, all right. Well, hey everybody, those Chain of Command Part 2, one of the most famous TNG episodes of all time. And you know what? I think
just generally speaking, for most people listening, for every episode that is like a top highly regarded episode, it really is a gamble on what we're going to say about it.
It's true. I mean, I think the thing that always comes to mind for me, and I think it's really funny because people still talk about it, is Darmok.
Yeah,
everyone fucking loves Darmok. I love Darmok, actually.
I hated it.
And everyone else on this panel hated it. or rather wasn't that enthralled
Quit
by
painting
it.
it as me hating it. Please.
No. You're just not enthralled by it, which is fine. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion. It's not like Darmok is flawless either. But I always think that's really funny.
Is not.
Yeah. I always think that's really funny. And a lot of it is, people finding, for lack of a better term, like legendary significance in hindsight. You kind of just go like, oh, that was that episode that did that. Oh, that was the best.
If anybody has some free time and knows Photoshop, can you take like the screenshot of the Kardashian show with all the Kardashians and just paint them up like with their
with
faces?
spoons on their heads?
That must exist.
That
already.
exists.
That
exists. You just
There's
Google
no way
that,
it doesn't.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Chain of Command Part 2. Next week, we're going to be hanging to Deep Space Nine. It's going to be really, really interesting. But in the meantime, if you guys have been really liking the show, it would be helpful if you guys could give us a little review or rating or, comment if you're on YouTube, wherever you are. That'd be great. And also, if you've been liking what we're doing and want to go a little further, maybe you could become a member of our YouTube channel. If you're looking at the YouTube version right now and you're on an Android or a computer.
For the price of one Tapatio bottle a month.
For $1.99, less than a Tapatio bottle. It's only $1.99. That's cheap.
Yeah.
Tapatio costs more than that.
Yeah, Tapatio is like $4.
If you go to the Dollar Tree, you get one for like $1.25 though.
But those are little.
150.
Those are the little ones.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, for only $1.99 a month, you can get early access to new episodes, YouTube ad-free versions of those episodes, access to our members-only Discord, where we're having a grand old time in there, just talking about lots of things. Star Trek, obviously, but also like philosophy and cooking recipes. So that's happening. And we're planning other things eventually.
I might be streaming the Star Trek game and just getting really high. And then just having people help me get through it. And
into the Discord. You want to just do that into the Discord?
Yeah.
And then, okay, that's actually probably a good venue if you want to do like a chill stream and not like
this is a chill stream. I'm gonna get really high.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need people to help me out.
But also, if anyone wants to ever send us an email, send us a question, etc., you can always send us an email at contact@newbiestartrek.com. That's contact@newbiestartrek.com. This week, subject line: Star Trek as horror? From James. So it says, hey guys, thanks so much for all the content and all the hard work. Still playing catch up and recently caught your Night Terrors episode, and it reminded me of something. Back in the early 2000s, when DVD box sets for all the Trek series were coming out, and I was buying everything I could, I remember being taken aback seeing Best Buy's online site consistently listing the box sets under the sci-fi horror genre. It seems so odd to me because I always thought of Trek as mostly lighthearted, optimistic, sci-fi, and certainly not horror. As an experiment, though, I kept this in mind when watching, and from a certain perspective, even if sometimes superficial, I was shocked at how many episodes actually do have some horror elements to them. Not all of them, but many have at least a trope or two. Night Terrors is for sure deliberately going for the horror angle, but think about it for other less obvious episodes as well. It makes for a fun game. As a question for the group, in your opinion, which episode that you've seen so far is the most under-the-radar horror episode? Keep up the great work. James from Taiwan. Under-the-radar horror episode, I mean, like Chain of Command is kind of like a psychological horror potentially. I mean, it could have gotten Saw-like,
I vote for the worm parasite symbiote host.
Oh yeah, but there's a lot of body horror stuff going on.
Yeah, and what it's like for the host.
Yeah,
mostly. We never hear from the host.
That's true.
Except for Riker, and he was about to die.
What about you, Ricardo? What do you think?
I don't know. I can't think, dude. I can't even think of the episode we watched fucking 2 episodes ago, dude. I can't.
That's fair.
Maybe the Venom one. Just that's the only one I can think of.
Venom is kind of it's like a monster. It is a monster,
just a straight up monster.
Yeah. Imagine if it was lit differently, and they were and you
had Eminem singing Venom, Venom,
and he didn't let Deanna leave, right? And that's kind of like a horror trapped with a monster type of thing. And
Actually, 2 episodes ago is the exocomp, so the horror of slavery.
yeah, this is the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
12 years an exocomp slave. You can have
Yeah.
a movie like that.
Yeah, that horror movie. 12 years.
God damn it.
What about you, Sarah? What do you think?
I think low key, maybe one that's a horror episode could be the one where Barkley is afraid of being taken apart by the
The transporter. Okay, because he
Yes.
could have also been going for the one where he got a huge brain. That could also be a horror one as well, I guess.
That also is one.
Yeah.
For
But
sure.
the transporter fear is definitely could be one too, because you're like, it's an existential horror, I guess, right? Because you're
Yeah. And to me, I identify with that because I would be absolutely horrified in that situation. And they do make it mildly like horror-esque in terms of like he's super afraid. There's a lot of anxiety.
and there is like a monster in the stream. It's like that worm.
Yes. So I think that could definitely be considered a horror episode. I also think the one where the gecko thing, the weird like
the space face, the big space face that
Yeah.
kills everybody. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, there's a lot of horror sci-fi stuff that could be, if you just lit it differently, it would become a horror movie.
I also think it depends what age you're watching this because a lot of this stuff would be really scary if I was a little kid.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Aliens. I was afraid of Independence Day, the movie.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
I had nightmares after
Oh.
watching Independence Day, even though it's kind of looking back, it's kind of a lighthearted comedy now, and it's
Yeah,
not
it's pretty.
scary
It's like a
at all.
campy. It's like a campy thing.
No,
yeah.
as a kid, I was terrified. I saw Independence Day as a complete, straight up horror film,
That's
like
interesting.
scary,
Okay.
scary movie.
I mean, it has that
was so
scary
afraid.
scene with the aliens at Area 51 when it grabs the scientist by the neck and forces
Yeah,
him to
I was
talk.
terrified. I had
Yeah,
nightmares. I
that's a
was
scary part.
crying. It was terrifying. So I could see that if you were a younger kid watching Star Trek, it could be considered scary. There are scary alien weird elements.
Yeah.
The makeup can get a little freaky sometimes.
Yeah. I think one thing I will add, though, in general, is that I think horror in general is kind of a sci-fi concept. Like, a lot of horror things don't really exist unless you, like, because you know how sci-fi is like, what if this was life, but we had spaceships? Or what if this was life, but we had a transportation machine, Horror
I
is
feel like horror, like equal parts, like sci-fi and fantasy feed into horror both.
yeah,
Like,
easily.
pretty
Yeah.
easily,
Yeah. You can be like, because horror is like, what if this, but this is just a regular sleepaway camp, but there's a guy in a hockey mask who's immortal trying to kill us.
Yeah,
That's kind of a horror.
It's a classic like theme of horror that horror movies tend to highlight anxieties or fears of society, for the era.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of like society itself generates the horror.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can either dial it up to actually making it about being scared of it, or you can just be part of the background.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, a trope will fall out.
There's a lot of crossover, so,
Yeah, so I think there's always ripe opportunity to see horror tropes or tropes that end up in horror films, but I don't know how often I would declare that enough to call something horror.
Yeah, that's true. Well, James, thanks for giving us something to think about. And you guys, thanks for listening. If you want to see other things we do, like the Would You Stay Tuned podcast and all that, you can just head on over to fugitiveframes.com. We have links to all that stuff, including links to songs like the new song we're going to have for Deep Space Nine, which is where we're going next week. We're going to the first episode titled Emissary. So that's going to be a 2-parter. Basically, it's going to be a small movie we're going to watch. So
Right.
that'll be, and it's going to be a trip. Part of the big trip, just from previewing, is that it's all in standard definition.
Right.
So
It's going to be so jarring to have to go to a worse looking show to progress.
but it's kind of nostalgic. I was watching it and I was like, there's
that'll
something about
feel
this
weird
that feels
too, because it's nostalgic for you, because it's like, yeah, you remember how it used to look like that. But
Yeah.
for me, it'll be like, the fuck?
It's very cozy feeling in many ways. So, all right.
It'll be just as ugly as I remember it. The reason why I didn't ever give it a chance.
All right. We'll see you guys next time, everybody. We'll see you for Deep Space Nine. Yeah.
Take care, y'all. To Deep Space Nine.
Kardashian